Yo, what's good? It's your boy Raysean from the Raysean Gadson Anime Podcast, or RGAP for short. And on today's episode, we have special guest Joe Daniels from the popular anime Haikyu, Vinland Saga, Batman Ninjas vs. Yakuza League, and Rick and Morty, the anime. We're going to be asking him about his experience in voice acting and also about his personal life and how you can get into the industry. But before I introduce my guest, if this has sparked your interest, then sit back and enjoy the ride. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening.
There it is!
What? Our bodies have been exposed to a space-time pulse emitted from the Quake engine. It may be possible for us to focus that energy on the device as it fluctuates through space-time and then anchor it to this continuum. That's the gamble I'm willing to take.
Sounds cool! I'm in!
I wish he could have come here with us. He's an excellent player. Stamina, speed, swiftness, jumping power, and spirit.
Excuse me!
Hey! Hello, Shoyo Hinata. And Oikawa and Iwaizumi.
Well, looky who we have here. Ushiwaka.
For you two, it's the last tournament of your high school career. Wish you the best of luck. Yeah, well, only one team can go to the Nationals. Whoever we play, I won't lose.
Before we get started, I just want to allow my guest the opportunity to introduce themselves. Basically, tell everybody what you do, where you're from, and also tell us your top 2 favorite villain or antagonist from any movie or book and why you like them.
Hi, my name is Joe Daniels. I'm a Texas-based voice actor, I love gray area villains. I love like Pain from Naruto.
Okay.
That's a really good one for me. And then second one, I enjoy like sort of like the enigmatic nature of things as well. Sort of like really holding off on villains. I'm thinking about like the Persona series of video games. Persona 3, I like I'm not going to spoil the main villain from that series. I don't want to spoil anybody, but yeah, I really enjoy the that main villain from Persona 3. Yeah.
Okay.
If I had to pick 2. Yeah.
For the 2 that I chose, I told you recently that I just watched Invincible season 3. I already watched season 1, but it took me a while to get to season 3, and I will agree with you. It's amazing. I love a lot of the themes and storylines they interwove into those 8 episodes, and it really puts you on your seat waiting for the next season. I will say Conquest was amazing. That's not someone I'm going to choose, but I should have chose him because Conquest was fucking amazing. For the person I chose was Omni-Man, and the reason why I chose Omni-Man is because Omni-Man, he comes off as this great father, family figure. He's the hero of the earth. But then you see, like, I don't know what triggers it. I guess it's just Mark getting his power, and then he just starting to realize, I'm an alien and everything, and he just destroys their fake version of the Justice League. Which is so hilarious because I always tell people it's such a knockoff with the Justice League because you got like the Batman version, you got the Martian Manhunter, you got the Wonder Woman, but how he goes in there and just destroys them is just crazy. And then you just have this kind of cat and mouse kind of thing from the season where they're trying to figure out who did it. Everyone kind of knows who did it, but since it's Omni-Man, you can't like outrightly say he did it. It's like, oh man, we don't want these problems, but maybe there's a reason, maybe there's a reason why he did this. But when he kind of breaks out of his shell and you see what he is about, I have to say it's crazy. And I always have to say one of the worst ass whoopings we ever see on screen that I've seen of a father just destroying his son.
Yeah.
I have to say this. I was telling my brother this because we talk about every show we watch. I was gonna say Mark is almost like 0-2 against that that race because Conquest down there came destroy him. His father wiped him out. It's like I don't know what you're gonna do when they actually come, like because I don't even think these are like the high ranking ones. Like, and I feel like your father was way stronger.
Yeah,
but I will say I do like how good the story is because there's one episode I realized they did in season 1 where they go to Mars and they pick up these little alien race things that like impersonate one of the astronauts, and it comes back and you see it at the end of this season 3 of them all underground like about to take over like these people. So it's like I like how they interlude these little things, and now I want to see how that comes into play because that's gonna be crazy.
Were you ever like a comic guy? Did you ever like read any of the Invincible comic or anything like that?
I read a few of them, and now I'm kind of trying to get them and read some of them because, like, I'm like, these are great. I want to know if there's any major changes from the anime to the comics.
From what I've seen, it's pretty faithful, which I think is like really important for something like that. You know, I think it's really cool that they didn't like pull any punches in the series. Yeah,
that's one thing I do love, and I love the fact that you. For another villain I could choose for this one, I'm probably going to go ahead because I like him too. Powerplex.
Yeah.
Powerplex, why I have to choose him? Because he is one of those villains where you brought up pain. It's where I can understand why he is upset.
I kind of get it.
Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, if I was one of those people who family members died in that, I would be hurt and like broken. And you see him trying to figure out all these like ways they can like prosecute them, at least put them on the trial so like we can judge and see what we can do. But the fact that he actually has to take it into his own hands, and I hate what happens to his family because of the whole situation, but it's like that rage and that pain, I can understand that. And one of my favorite scenes I like with him, it has to be where he goes to the funeral when they're basically talking about all the people that died. And I was like, the scene where he just starts screaming out their names and everything, and he's asking for Invincible. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's incredible voice acting by that actor as well.
Oh man,
It's gut wrenching at times. He did such a good job.
One thing I have to say, I didn't realize how many like I would say A-list actors are in that series. Like that, like not to be like pitting actors on a ranking system, but it was just it's crazy to me when I'm like, okay, every one of these actors are like almost big names. Like you even have Aaron Paul. Does he play Powerplex? I'm thinking he plays someone.
I think he does play Powerplex.
Phenomenal. It's just crazy. And then you got J.K. Simmons, and you got to give him his props. And it's just crazy.
No, totally.
But with that kind of just swings into what we've recently been watching and listening to and things like that. And I guess you guys can tell I've just recently watched Invincible, but I'm going to go ahead and let you take the floor.
Yeah. I've been watching. I've been watching Gurren Lagann with my wife.
That's amazing.
I watched Gurren Lagann back in the day, but I've been introducing her to some animes. We watched Soul Eater first, and we loved that, and then we watched Gargantua and the Virtuous Planet, one of my favorite like sort of shorties, like a 12-episoder. And so yeah, we're just sort of getting into stuff. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was on the list, but it's a little heavy. It's a little too heavy for her. She's like, there's a lot going on. And I was like, I completely understand. Makes perfect sense. It gets pretty messed up at times.
And it does it really quick too.
Oh, really quick. Yeah. No, 100%. Like episode 4 or something, you get into some really messed up stuff. but yeah, so we've been watching Gurren Lagann recently, and that's been cool. Getting to relive that. I love that show, and so yeah.
That's funny. You say you guys just finished Soul Eater. I'm surprised y'all didn't go right into Fire Force.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about Fire Force because I really do enjoy. It's got that same sort of like feel to it. And the OP for Fire Force is incredible.
Amazing. I love the show.
It's so cool. But yeah, no, I don't know. I wanted to skip to something, different,
kind of different
style,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me like for this new season of anime that's come out, it took me a little while to kind of watch them because I kind of like to binge my shows. I have to say, Vigilantes, amazing. I don't know if that's because I already liked it, My Hero, but I'm like, Vigilantes, if it can keep going a similar route, I feel like it can low key be better. And I think why? It's only because I really like Knuckle Duster right now, and I just seeing just this man out here just kicking ass just no powers, no quirks, but still out here fighting and rumbling. It's like one episode, I can't remember exactly who he was fighting. It's one of those guys that basically got this new drug they have that's basically amplifying everyone's quirks. And you see a moment where he's like, oh my God, if this is how everybody's going to be, I might not be. Then he's like, fuck it. Yeah. Oh shit. It was getting too easy. I thought that was amazing. I loved his little fight with Aizawa too. I thought that was pretty cool.
For sure. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people, from what I've been hearing, is a lot of people saying that like My Hero was like almost felt like the Superman sort of origin sort of thing, and then Vigilantes feels more like the Batman and Robin sort of kind of thing.
And I can feel you on that sort of thing because you kind of got to wait because I feel like we still haven't seen our main character use his quirk as good as he can. Because I've talked to a lot of people before and they told me it's a lot more to his quirk than just like on the ground. So I don't know how far that's going to pit him. But I do like kind of seeing the different origins of different characters because we've gotten to see Ida's brother. I can't think of his name right now. But the man.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But then you also get to see the storyline of Stain in these last few episodes, and even like him cutting up his face and everything. I was like, oh, dang. But okay, this is pretty interesting. I think it's pretty cool. The main villain you got is this girl who's like a bee. I don't know where she goes from this because they don't really talk about her after this in My Hero. So I don't know what her origins is after this, but she seems pretty decent. So I don't know what happens with her, but I do like this is more of the Batman story. We kind of more in the alleys versus kind of seeing a lot of more of the major fights. So I do like how you brought that up.
Yeah, for sure.
And also I've been recently watching, I just got caught up with One Piece. I don't know if you're a One Piece fan.
Woo, I mean, yeah, no, I absolutely am. It's just, it's a lot to keep up with. So,
man, it is. It took me a second because I was at that edge where I was caught up in the anime, but I didn't want to be like caught up because the English dub and the sub were like really close. So I've been trying to keep it back, but I just recently just caught up with the most major episode. And the fact that we kind of seeing the 5 elders now is kind of crazy. I really want them to speak more into what they're doing because what are their abilities?
For sure.
I will have to say the fact that we are an egghead, and now if you are reading the manga, they're finally on Albath with the Giants. So we're getting closer to the end. The only thing I like to say, right, is basically I love the fact that we kind of got to see Garp use some of his power and how strong he is, because this man really changed my view of people just having hockey. Because I used to think you needed a devil fruit to be like top tier, and that's not true. That is not true. But you know what's so funny? Everyone keeps hitting me with the fact that it was like they kept saying he was like one of the few people that could fight. Roger. So why wouldn't he be that strong? And I just was like, I just didn't think it was gonna be like that. But
Yeah,
man, he was. I just imagine if he was in his prime, he literally probably could have destroyed that island the way he just
for sure.
Crazy.
Prime Garp and Prime Whitebeard are like, to me, like the two coolest like characters. We don't really get to see them in their prime, but like Prime Whitebeard and Prime Garp are like the craziest too.
Yes, and when you get caught up, they're kind of doing a little bit of flashbacks right now. I don't know how far they're going to go on it, but they're kind of showing like everybody in their young states right now. You probably seen clips on it if you're on Instagram, but pictures.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. I like just seeing that. Like, I'm like, I hope they actually show the fighting on that island, but I don't know how far it went in the manga. Even I just want to see how far Shank's dad, I think, Garland.
Yeah.
I can't think his last name, but I want to see how strong he is. Like, man, because he's supposed to be like the top tier.
Well, also, Shanks with his other arm, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, Shanks is still, we haven't even seen what he's capable of. No. And we just seen him, I guess, fight Eustace Kid, and he took him out of the game, and they kind of made it like we don't know where he's at. Like,
yeah, yeah.
And that to me is so funny because that comes right after them beating Big Mom. So, they was fucking having so much they from that. Like, we about to go ahead and take out another Yonko because you got Law doing the same thing, gets Molly whopped too. That's hilarious to me, which makes me feel like, everyone forgets, Blackbeard's like the second main character of One Piece because that's the other character that keeps that story going. Because I want to know what he's doing, why it seemed like everything always working out into his like plan or scheme of things. Like, I feel like even this Garp situation is crazy because the fact that his crew was able to take him down with him not even being there, man. I'm like, I don't even know if Luffy crew could do that. I'm like, Zoro's strong, but I don't know if he could do that. Like, but I'm like, he did do some damage on Kaido, but I don't know, man. That's interesting.
Zoro's good, but Zoro has that nothing happened moment, that with Kuma.
Yeah. And you got to give him that because that's still one of the best scenes. And then you also got Sanji, who we just recently figured out he's half cyborg too, so I guess they might be able to do something. But go ahead and jump in right into our interview. But my first question I want to ask you, can you recall the first time you were introduced to anime and which show captured your attention?
For sure, yeah. I mean, I don't remember exactly which anime it was, but it was on Toonami for certain.
Okay.
Definitely. Because I watched Cartoon Network when I was a child. And so I would stay up a little too late into the night. And then Toonami would come on, and oftentimes if I had to guess, it'd either be like Cowboy Bebop, which I still love Cowboy Bebop, or maybe Naruto, possibly, or One Piece. It was one of the three. But I remember I watched all of them that I could, just like religiously. And Naruto's still one of my favorite anime. I still love Cowboy Bebop. I think like it's my favorite stylized anime. Like it's so smooth and so cool. I've never seen like a smoother anime in my life. And then One Piece was already so expansive, even whenever I was young, and now it's like just continued the growth throughout every single month of every single year, and it's grown into this phenomenon that is like worldwide at this point. Like, even when you don't know anime, if you meet somebody who doesn't know anime, if you say One Piece, they're going to be like, I think I've heard of that, just because One Piece is so prolific at this point. Other anime have like sort of hit that point. I feel like a lot of people who don't even know anime know like My Hero and stuff like that. But like One Piece is just on such an insane different level. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, One Piece is crazy how long it's been going, and the fact that the story's been able to keep up with all the stories with anime right now and the animation. It's like they have not been holding back with One Piece. And the fact that I'm still questioning if Oda had all this planned out in the beginning, or if it's
No
just
way.
that's what I'm on the fence. Like it's just you can't. I feel like it was a point where he was like, I could probably scratch this out a little bit more.
The man's a master. The man is an absolute master. There's no questioning that. But there's no way he had all this.
The one crazy thing I find funny though, because I always want to know, like, I be trying to look up the net worth of like manga artists and like how much does Oda is worth. You can't get an exact amount because like the numbers you get to me don't make sense when you look at how much he's selling, and then when you look up other like things and they talk about like I guess there was a hurricane that happened and he donated like a lot of money to help fix that and stuff like that. So I'm like, they have to be a lot more rich than what the numbers are saying. I don't think they're able to accurately say. Like,
well, the man is an icon. I mean, he's not just like he's an incredible manga writer. He's an icon in Japan.
Yes.
I mean, like they have statues built to the not only his works but like him as a like. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure, but
man, I think he has to be right up there. Well, at least you got to thank the creator of Dragon Ball, because he's up there with just recognition. I think everybody knows Dragon Ball, even if you don't know anime, you know something about Dragon Ball. Like,
yeah, you've heard of Dragon Ball.
But you were also talking about Cartoon Network. What are some other shows you watch other than anime on Cartoon Network that you enjoyed?
What did I watch back when I was a kid? I used to love like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Oh, that was my show, man. A lot of people don't even talk about that show. That was amazing.
I love that show. I love and then they had the movie, Wilt's movie. I love that. And then I watched a lot of Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Okay.
Just to fuel my, because that was the like original brain rot for kids back in the day. It was just Ed, Edd n Eddy. And then what else was on? I don't know. Billy.
Were you like? Oh, Billy and Mandy was an amazing show. What about like Dexter's Laboratory?
Oh, sure. Yeah. No. 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
See, I always felt like I was in the mix between those 90s and early 2000 cartoons, where I liked those Dexters and Cowley, Courage Dog, and stuff like that. Which I've been trying to figure out which era that came out, Courage the Cowardly Dog, because I keep thinking that's an older cartoon, but someone told me that was like a newer like 2000s cartoon, because I was like that was a 90s, and I'm like
that's a 90s cartoon.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Then you got like other shows like Billy and Mandy that you were saying, Foster Home of Imaginary Friends, and then you got like Nickelodeon that had like SpongeBob and shows like that. But I always used to be a huge fan of Cartoon Network, and I like the fact that they brought in anime and was one of the first TV shows that showed me Dragon Ball. Yeah. Which I actually watched Dragon Ball on something different, I think on tapes, before I actually seen it on Cartoon Network, but they were like the first time to actually have them like dubbed and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
That's sick. That's awesome.
So when did you get into Dragon Ball? Are you not a Dragon Ball fan?
No. I've watched all of Dragon Ball Z. I watched a small part of GT in the beginning. I watched some of Super.
Okay.
And I've seen like the original Dragon Ball, like a good portion of it. I don't know if I've seen all of it in my I know I've seen all of like Z though, but I think the actual first episode of Dragon Ball that I ever saw, it was Dragon Ball Z, and I think it was like the episode where Vegeta and bald guy Nappa, Vegeta and Nappa
over 9,000.
Yeah, I think that was the very first episode that I saw.
That's so funny. I know the original run of when it was on Cartoon Network, they only showed to about the Saiyan saga. It took a while before they finished the Frieza saga. Then when they did, it took them a while to get to the Cell saga. So for a while, I know a lot of people thought the Frieza saga was the end of Dragon Ball. So 100%. That was hilarious.
Which sucks, because I remember I did think that, and then it took me like several years to watch the Cell saga, and the Cell saga is incredible. I love it. I think it's like one of my favorite sagas of Dragon Ball Z. just because it's
For sure.
and I love the tournament and everything else, and Gohan participate. I love the Cell Saga.
I think it paid a lot of things that we've seen in the early sagas of Dragon Ball Z pays off in the Cell Saga, where you have Gohan finally kind of maturing. You have a villain that's kind of starts off weak, but kind of like being more like hidden and detective, like going around getting his power and powering up, and then trying to become perfect. And then we literally seeing all our characters' personality traits help him get to that state, and it's hilarious. And I love them kind of learning from their mistakes and stuff like that. So.
And you get like androids 16, 17, 18 in there.
Yes.
I feel like they add a lot to it. Well, maybe not 16, but 17, 18. I love 16 personally, but
I'm a huge fan of 17, Android 17,
sure.
and 18, and I like the fact that these characters get introduced here, and they're all you see them as Super, and do you see him in Daima? No, I don't think you see him in Daima.
I don't think so. No.
What am I thinking about it now? But you pretty much get to see them throughout the series, and I like that. I've been a huge fan of Dragon Ball. I hate the fact that the creator died just recently, and Dragon Ball have recently been in limbo, not knowing if they're going to continue the series and all the stuff with that's going on, but I hope they do. I don't know if you've seen Daima and what your thoughts are on Daima.
I've seen I've seen a very small amount. I've talked to my friend who's more of a Dragon Ball head about it, and he says it's cool, but it doesn't feel as Dragon Ball as usual. He watched all of Super, and he's watched some of Daima, and he's watched a lot of the more recent movies that have come out. And he said he's still working his way into it though, and so I've been holding off until I get a verdict from him, since he's more of the Dragon Ball head.
I feel you on that, and I can understand that. I feel like it has a lot of the same humor as in Dragon Ball, if you watch Dragon Ball, and I think some of the storyline is pretty similar to what he does. I think the end pays off really good. The end is amazing. So I think you should give it a chance. But moving on to my next question. Recently, I've been a huge fan of sports anime, and Haikyu has become one of my number one rewatch animes so far. I think I just recently looked at it, and it's probably about up to 10 times I've kind of rewatched it. And I will say I'm one of those people who can rewatch a series and still be able to still fuck up names of characters, because it's hard
There's
for me.
So
I don't know
many
why.
in Haikyu.
One of the main reasons I brought you on is because I wanted to talk about your role in Haikyu, and basically you playing one of the main antagonist characters, one of the only antagonist characters where everyone knows and actually knows he's a threat. How does it feel playing him, and how was it trying to come up with his voice?
Yeah, well, when you're playing someone as intimidating as Inuoka from the Nekoma team, you really have to think about.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
No, Ushiwaka was great. I love Ushiwaka. It was awesome getting to start that off. I remember I came in for the audition, and Kyle was like, all right, let's just get it rolling. We were thinking your lower register. I was like, rock and roll, let's do it. And I did it. And he was like, okay, that was good. Can you make it lower? And I was like, no. And he was like, do it anyways. And so I did. And he was like, that's what we need. So we'll call you in for the rest of the lines soon. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, no, we recorded that. We're going to use that. You got the part already. We that was essentially your first session. We'll pay you for this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
So your audition turned into a first session?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's amazing.
No, it was really sick. Because they were doing, I had done season 1, and I was Inuoka on the Nekoma team. And then they were auditioning people for Ushiwaka, because he does show up in season 2, even though his main season is season 3, obviously.
Yes.
He has to have that monologue about like fruits and planting them and how they won't grow in concrete or whatever, where he's a farmer or something.
So were you recording for Inioka, and then they just had that picture up, and then you were like, oh, and they just gave a voice for that, and they were like, we're going with that. Let's go.
I came in for a different session for a completely different anime, And then at the end of it, Kyle was like, "Oh, hey, we're actually auditioning people for this thing in Haikyu." And I was like, "I was already in Haikyu." And he was like, "Yeah, I know, but you did like a high pitched sort of like, whoa, it's me, kind of voice. So like, if you could take it down, like you can audition for this." And so we did it, and it worked out. And then he was like, "Great, so this is like the main villain of the next season as well. So we'll call you back." And I was like, "Oh, cool." So yeah, Haikyuu's been crazy because Haikyu just has so many people in it. There's
Yes.
so many people, and each of them, like each team has like at least 6 players that matter, right? That actually have like a storyline and like a backstory and like interpersonal connections to each other. And so that's so many people, and it's the reason why I've been 3 separate named characters in the show, but Ushiwaka.
Who's the third one?
I was Omimi, which is the tall sort of like sort of a squint, like he's like the one who looks like he's always pissed. On what's the fox or the Inarizaki?
Okay, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was him as well, and I'm glad that I got to be that character in season 4 because that means I get to be on that team. And that team has two of my very good friends on it. I mean, the whole show is full of my very good friends. But yeah,
and it's amazing because the characters that you've played helped you kind of play out throughout the seasons in the movie that came out. And are you playing a character from the other movie? I'm trying to think. I think Nekoma might get some scenes, but I'm not sure.
Maybe. I think it'll just be like a, I don't think actually. I know because
it's mainly about Karasuno versus the other little giant. I can't think of that team name.
I can't think of the team's name. I'm trying to think of it. Dang it.
I think it starts with an S, right?
It's not helping me. We know what we're talking about. And, and they know what we're talking about if they know.
They got the other little giant on there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't think I'll be involved. I might come in for like a quick a couple lines or whatever. Yeah. Man. But doing the movie was actually really funny because when we did it, Riggs, who was directing it at Crunchyroll, said, "Hey, so we got you for this character and this other character." And I was like, "Oh, is Ushiwaka in this movie? Does he come in for like a line?" And they were like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, well then who is it?" And they were like, "Oh, it's this character." And they just pull up like random character that I was like, "I don't know that I've ever seen this character before." And they were like, "Well, it says you voiced it right here." And then they played a clip and it was me talking. And I was like, there are just so many people in this dang show, dude. I forget that I played so many people. And it was just like some random crowd person who just shows up a couple times. And
that's hilarious.
It was
you probably sitting there like, "Oh, damn, that is my voice."
I was like, "Yeah, man, that's me."
I don't remember recording him at all. That's great deja vu, but I can kind of voice match that.
Yeah.
So, like, when you take a break from a role like that, is it hard jumping right back into the voice, or? It
can be. It can be depending upon like the process used to create it and like what I've done in between, right? In Vinland Saga, I played Thorkell, and then I came over to Crunchyroll to voice it in Vinland Saga Season 2. And the time between those was not super significant, but it was significant enough to where like that voice doesn't like come super naturally to me. It was one that I had to sort of like, pull out of myself. And so getting back into that, it took a lot of like, thankfully I had like a week to prepare. So, but it did take a lot of that week just like sitting there and listening to it and sort of talking back sort of to the screen to myself in that voice to try and figure it back out. So it can be a little difficult at sometimes if you do a lot of like variety style voices. Some people just have voices that sound really good. And work for a lot of characters, and not to say that it's like easier for them or anything, because emotion still needs to be conveyed, acting still needs to happen, so there's a certain set of extremely difficult skills that come with that. But for me, a lot of the time, it's more of just like figuring out what I did with my throat to make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could say so. You're kind of working yourself more to kind of come out with these unique sounds versus already like them being uniquely to you. I could say that.
Sure. It's more about like, what did I do physically to produce that sound?
So out of all the characters that you've played, which one is more to your natural tone?
Which is the most natural tone? I would say I played a character Momoharu in Ahira no Sora, which is a basketball anime. It's like a 50 episode basketball anime, and I would say I think he's probably the closest to sort of my natural tone. He's a little lower. He's a little like me when I'm tired. But that sort of fit because I didn't really have to try. I could just sort of walk in and be tired and do the voice.
That's cool. I'm glad you were able to do that, because I know I'll say one of my thing of a unique voice actor is the fact that they're able to kind of use their natural voice and still play different roles and different characters, and it still feels like they're playing different characters, but even though it's still their voice, you know what I mean? So I always think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's an extremely cool skill. I don't have that skill personally. I got to switch stuff up, otherwise it sounds too similar. But yeah, no, I someone like Bryson Bogus uses a lot of like different tonation and whatnot inside of that. But his voice always sounds like sort of similar. He just changes like small aspects to make different characters, and it sounds like a completely different character. I don't know how he does it personally, but he does great.
He is amazing as Shoyo. I have to give him his props. I would love to have him on just to talk to him about coming up with the voice of Shoyo and how he feels about playing Shoyo, but I know he's probably a busy man, but one day hopefully. Oh, if you want, let's see if we can get an answer.
I'll do it later.
Well, for my next question I want to ask you is the fact that you also got to recently play Batman. That has to be almost a childhood dream. I know personally for me, I would love to play Batman in any versions. There's been so many great actors. What do you feel like you brought to the role, and was that something that surprised you to get that?
Oh, it's surprise is a understatement. I was entirely beside myself for several days on end, being like, this is the most terrifying thing and exciting that's ever happened to me.
I would have been in the mirror. I'm Batman all day, trying to perfect that. I'm like, man.
A lot of people were very excited for me, and they were all, making jokes and being like, "Oh, dude, you are the Knight," and I was like, but once the reality set in of like, I'm voicing Batman, and then I'm voicing Batman. Oh God! And then realizing that I have to do this. Not that I didn't want to. I absolutely wanted to, but the fear set in of like,
you got to be
so
on your
many
A game.
Incredible voice actors have voiced Batman. I mean, like not only Kevin Conroy, but like Troy Baker and all these other people have voiced, and they're incredible. Yeah. And then I'm me, right? And so insecurity, imposter syndrome sets in, and then at a certain point, you're gonna, judge yourself for every little decision that you did. And so it was a lot of time sitting there and like listening to everyone else's renditions of Batman. Like, what does Batman sound like in every single piece of media that he's been in? And then once I sort of just gave up on trying to copy anybody, because I realized I can't. I went and talked to my friend who is absolutely like the biggest Batman head I've ever met in my life. Whenever we met, he was a roommate with one of my best friends from high school, and he left a little note for him in the room and drew Batman at the bottom of it as like an introduction letter. Like extremely big Batman. He is like a
that's amazing
model scale Batmobile in his room that like spins. He liked Batman. So I talked to him about it. I was like, what does it mean? How do I do this? like, how do I be Batman? And he talked me through it, and he sort of gave me examples of like his favorite moments of Batman and like what that was. And he encouraged me to watch Batman Beyond and stuff like that. And so I did. And I found some moments that I really enjoyed that I wanted to emulate moments, right, rather than like actors. And so that was sort of how I came up with it. And I think it went well, personally, but you know,
I think you did really good. I was trying to figure out, in my opinion, who you were trying to emulate more. And do you feel like you have a person that you try to emulate a little bit more and try to sound so you can sound like Batman? You know what I mean?
The voice in my head was definitely Kevin Conroy. Whenever I sort of like read the line in my brain, it was definitely Kevin Conroy. So,
there's a new Batman movies that have recently came out. What was it called? I think it was Son of Batman, and then what was it? Batman Bad Blood and Batman versus Robin. These are just recent movies that came out, and it was a different person playing Batman. I think it was Jason O'Mari. That's my most recent version of him. I thought he did amazing. I mainly like those movies mainly for Damon Wayans, because I thought it was cool to kind of see a different Robin and kind of see a different viewpoint from Robin, because I always find it weird when I be like, I kind of want to see my superheroes be a little bit more lenient to being able to kill somebody. You know what I mean? But then I watched the Superman versus the Elites just recently. It's a superhero movie where Superman actually kind of goes into that storyline, and when you kind of see these characters that are like super powerful, kind of like Omni-Man, when they just kind of switch it off on you, and you always have those certain characters like Cecil. I'm trying to think who's more like that in Superman, but who kind of tell you like, if these motherfuckers ever switched up on us, like it could be dangerous.
Over.
When you kind of see Superman actually get to the point where he is crazy, it's amazing. It's just, and it's scary, because you always see him as the goody two shoes and the Boy Scout, but kind of see him actually split that line and take this one character and he throws him in the air, and he was like, if you take a second, you can actually hear his head pop, and it's just one of the most scariest scenes, just hearing it come from Superman, and I thought that was crazy.
I love those alternate tellings, the whole like what if thing. Especially with like movies like Flashpoint Paradox.
Yes,
it's a like super Flash focused movie, but I love the sort of retellings of things, especially like the Batman storyline where it's his father rather than him.
Yes,
and then the Superman. I love Flashpoint Paradox. It's probably one of my favorite.
What I like to tell people is, like, I know a lot of people talk about the DC movies and stuff, but a lot of the cartoon movies and the comic books are amazing. Y'all really need to give those a try. I don't know how they keep missing on the movies when y'all literally got some of the best scripts and y'all animated movies. Like, I don't see how y'all not doing this. Like, it's crazy to me.
DC,
but it's so crazy because Marvel has the other way around. They have the problem the other way around. Like,
it's so like, true.
So crazy. But my next question I want to ask you is, what was the number one reason that got you wanting to be an actor?
Okay, an actor or a voice actor? Because technically two different.
I was going actor, and then I was going to ask you, then what got you into voice acting? But you can go ahead and answer both.
Okay. Well, then I'll start with actor because that's what happened first. I didn't want to be an actor. I wanted to play basketball.
Like professionally?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I made a basketball. I made like a concrete block in my backyard that went exactly out to like the 3-point line, the NBA 3-point line. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I had my free throw marker there, and I would just shoot like 300 hoops per day.
Were you like a nationally ranked player?
Oh, I was garbage. I just practiced a lot. I didn't say I was good.
Okay. I was like, hold on. Like, were you a college player? Like,
some things that you can't overcome. I am 5'9", so tough thing to overcome. And if people don't like you because you're a big nerd, then sometimes you just can't get any playtime because no one will pass you the ball. So
Yeah.
anyways,
A lot of high school teams are click based, and it'd be hard to get on the team like that sometimes. So I can understand that. But man, sometimes you have these dreams. I have dreams of wanting to be a basketball player, football player, but it's always been mainly trying to have that amazing goal or that nice basket that wins the game. But I never really liked to practice. That was mainly me. That's usually what got me out of a lot of sports. And I was ever surprised that I ever finished wrestling because the practice in wrestling was bull. But I did wrestling for 2 years, and that was one of the funnest sports I actually did.
that's it.
And I feel like it made me more comfortable with being uncomfortable because being able to just be in a singlet in front of people for the longest took me to be able to just do it, because usually I have to wait until my match and be like, okay, now when we go out here. But then I just got to the point where I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, I love getting to that point. That's the best point to get to.
Man.
Making the uncomfortable comfortable. I like that. That's fun.
And that's what I'm trying to get to now, where it's more, I feel more comfortable speaking and when I'm uncomfortable, so I can be more able to talk on stage, because that's my goal, is be able to get to the point where I can speak more freely on stage and more in my mind. I always feel like I kind of fall in when I'm talking in front of people and not able to speak how I want to speak. So I'm trying to get to that point.
Are you wanting to be like an actor, or?
It's more of like stand-up comedy. I would love to do voice acting, but stand-up comedy has always been my top goal. I've always loved it, but to me, I always say it seems like the hardest medium to do. But I feel like I could do it if I really just could get past my nerves and just do it. So it's like, oh man,
that's so. I mean, hey, listen, I can stand up in front of people and talk. I would not do stand-up comedy. So the fact that you want to do stand-up comedy, that's sick as hell. That's awesome. I hope you get there, man. That's dope.
Man, it's my goal to do at least one time this year, to do an open mic. So hopefully, but that's been my goal for like the last 2 years. But this year I've been knocking out a lot more of my goals of doing things like we just recently got on YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm trying to knock them down, because I'm like, you're getting to the point where you're going to get to the point where you're like, damn, I should have did it. You know what I mean? Like, so true. I'm just trying to do it before I'm 30. So that's my thing.
That's sick as hell, man. I'm glad you're getting to do that stuff. That's awesome, dude.
I just hope it goes well. I'm trying it out right now, where I've signed up for an anime con to kind of come in and talk there more publicly. I've been trying to get more opportunities to speak publicly and stuff like that, to be more comfortable doing it. So hopefully it works out.
That's awesome, dude. That's super cool.
It's hard because I've been trying to promote, and I'm one of those people who tell people, like, try to do more stuff that makes you uncomfortable, try to learn more things, but I never really take my own advice. So I'm really trying to take but it can be scary. It really can. Because I'm always all hyped up until it's the day of or the day before. Then I'm like, damn. Like, why did I sign up for this? You know what? I can do this the next month. Let me just do the next month one. All right. But this is why I haven't really like sent any emails. Because like last year, I was like, every month, I was like, oh, I'm going to do it. Never mind. I'm going to do it next month. And then one time I got actually emailed back, like, just wait till you're ready. Like, we don't need you to send us emails. Like, we'll just wait till you're ready. And I was like, okay.
Woo. That's sick.
You
gotta let me know if you ever hit that stand up. You ever
Oh, if I film it, I'm definitely gonna send it to you, man.
Yes. Awesome. Dude, that's sick. Oh, I can't wait. That's gonna be good. Sorry, you had a question. You asked me a question about 8 minutes ago, and I forgot. I'm sorry. I got so stuck. I wanted to hear about your stuff. What did you ask? I'm so sorry.
Honestly, I forgot exactly what question it went. We're just gonna go to the next one. My next question is, What emotion do you find hard to portray?
I think the most difficult emotion to portray, at least for me, everybody else is different. I think desperation is very difficult.
Okay.
Because it's not just. I feel like desperation often manifests itself like physically in like real life.
Yes,
right?
I can see what you're saying.
That's sort of like that, like grasping. That's sort of like almost like holding, the open palm, the pleading, the whatnot. But I feel like it doesn't manifest vocally very often. And so whenever you're playing to an animation and it is like truly desperate, I feel like a lot of the time it comes off as like angry or like
you're kind of pleading.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so much more like nuance to that emotion that I feel like it's very difficult to portray just vocally. And I don't get to. It's not to say like I'm doing it all the time. All my characters are desperate. But whenever that emotion does come up, I feel like that's when you really, I'll request like multiple takes and I'll be like, that wasn't right. Can I hit it again? That sort of, and I feel like that's when like the voice cracks come in and, all this other stuff sort of like manifests itself inside of the voice, it's really cool to do. Like, I love getting those challenges inside of this stuff. But yeah, I feel like that's probably the most difficult. I hope that's your question.
Yeah, it does, because I feel like that would be something that you kind of need to see more of visual cues and to really see that somebody's desperate. But I feel like there's kind of voice cues too, that you can kind of get from it, like you kind of out of breath and like voice kind of going up and down and you're not knowing. I'm only thinking from the perspective of like a 911 operator and then someone's calling in, like knowing like, oh, how desperate the situation is because you like how they're talking. That's what I'm thinking from the perspective.
I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of the 911 call thing. Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, maybe I had just helped you out. That's what I was just thinking of. But I feel like different emotions and stuff like that, because we get different answers for this a lot, from like laughing or trying awkward. Someone said awkward, and that really threw me off. And I was like, I guess it would be hard to like play awkward. You know what I mean? If that's not something you're normal like doing, like, because I couldn't even think like, how do you play awkward? Like, it was like,
I guess you get really uncomfortable in the moment. What I would do personally, if I needed to sound awkward, I would make a joke that is very not funny. Not in a way that it's like offensive or anything, just in a way that's like, that's just a bad joke and no one is laughing. And then I would sit in that and I would go, this is how I need to feel.
Okay, I feel that. Have there been any other roles in the production of anime that you participated in, like directing or script writing or anything like that? And if not, are you interested in that?
I haven't, like had an official like writing stuff, but I've helped to sort of rewrite scenes that don't feel, right for the character, and I've also, had suggestions, but nothing ever official, and I would never say that I was a writer or anything. And I haven't directed. I've thought about perhaps directing before, but then I see, these incredible directors that we have at like Sentai and some at Crunchyroll that I've worked with. I've worked as much with Crunchyroll, and so that's why I don't say that. But like, and I just go like, maybe it can wait. Maybe I'll be fine just waiting and doing that some other time. Plus, I got other stuff I work on, and so I'm good with what I do.
So going into that, so outside of voice acting, what are other stuff that you work on? If you're comfortable bringing that up.
Oh, I'm so uncomfortable. Please don't talk to me about stuff. No, I've been working on a project with a few of my friends. Funnily enough, all of them in Haikyu. About it's just a little project.
You're not a group of assassins, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how far it was going. What? Oh, I mean, you probably couldn't tell me even if you were.
Assassins. No, I've never killed anyone in my life.
That was believable.
Good. Thank God. Still got the acting chops. I haven't been in front of a camera in a while. No, we got a project coming up that we're gonna put out in a couple months. That I'm super excited for. I don't know how much they would want me to say, so I'm not gonna say too much, just because if they're like, but we're not gonna be ready, then I don't want to share anything. But if you watch our social media, I'm doing it with my friends Blake Jackson, who played Asumu in Haikyu.
Oh, okay.
So he was on Inarizaki. My friend Cameron Nunley, who played Aran in Haikyu, which was the ace for Inarizaki. And then my friend Jeremy G, who plays Akashi.
Yeah, yes.
Bokuto's other.
That's the only, I think, out of all those people you said, I've talked to Jeremy. So that's pretty cool. I wonder what you guys are working on.
He's such a little guy. He's such a mean little rude man.
He was very cool to talk to. That's what. What's crazy? I couldn't even tell if you guys were short from just from this. You know what I mean? Unless
Jeremy, he's like 6'2". He's not short at all.
Then I was gonna say, even with the information you get from online, because a lot of that information be partly correct or not right. Because I've had some people when I've seen the ages and it'd be like 40, and I'm like, they don't look that old, but you never know.
I'm 58, so that's just
man, you're wearing it well. You're wearing it very well, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, but we're working on something right now.
Is it like a fan animation, or you really don't want to get into it?
No.
If you don't want to get into it, you don't have to.
No. I'll get into it a little bit. I'll just we're really enjoying ourselves. We're recording it frequently on Sundays, and it's going to come out in episodes every 2 weeks coming up here soon. So just watch out for that.
Man, I can't wait for that, man. When it comes out, I'm going to share it on my social media.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Out of all the performances you have done so far, which one do you consider your best? And which the one you like to show your family or your friends? Like, that's me.
I would say that
or do you like to have people guessing? Like, who do you think that is?
What the hell is that? No, the one that I'm the most proud of and to show people is Batman Ninja. That's
okay.
Honestly, mostly because of ease of access, right? Everyone knows who Batman is, so it doesn't matter who I need to show something to. Just easiest to show them Batman Ninja, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them have been very, very kind about it and very excited for me. And I very much appreciate that. But
has somebody hit you with negative criticism?
It's the world. Come on, somebody's gonna hit you.
I mean, like one of your friends, like someone that surprised you to hit you with that. Like,
I do have one friend that I constantly I constantly razzed for this, because whenever I showed him Batman Ninja and we watched it all the way through, and I was like, "So what do you think?" And he was like, "Yeah, you were fine." And so I constantly say like, "Oh, thank you for telling me that I was fine." That's great. What a great compliment from one of my best friends. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you went out of your way for that comment.
Yeah. Oh, you're really pushing the limits of love here, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate it. By telling me I did fine.
Well, I didn't want to spoil you, make you too hacked.
He doesn't want me to get a big head or anything.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, sure. No, I think he was worried that I was being insecure about it and being like, "Did I do okay?" or whatever. And he was trying to just go, "You did fine." But that's not what I was asking. So he was like, "You did fine."
You wanted you sound like Batman. That's what I wanted. Like, I feel that.
Oh my goodness. You're incredible. That's what I wanted, but can't get any support out here. Swear to God.
And it's always the closest people to you.
I know. That it's sickening. I'm gonna call him after this, tell him we're done. We're not friends anymore.
Well, sometimes we come to realizations here.
Yeah. This has been an eye-opening video for me. Thank you.
No,
My whole life has changed.
man.
Anyways, the thing I think I did best on is a show called I'm Quitting Heroing. I played the protagonist in that, and it was sort of like a classic protagonist, sort of like I'm more up here than anything else, that sort of thing. And I don't get to play that very often. And John Swayze took a chance sort of giving me that role, and I really appreciate it. And I feel like I really put my as they say, my whole ass into it. And I feel like I generated something that was pretty decent, in my opinion. But
if I remember correctly, that's the anime where the hero wants to die at the end, like he's setting this all up to die at the end. Oh, that's kind of a spoil, but it's been out there for a little bit. You did phenomenal. That anime, I recently watched that at work, and I went through the whole thing. And when you actually got to that point where he was kind of talking about living forever and everything like that and stuff, it makes sense to me. Like you understand, and like he wants to finally let it be over and kind of do what he wants to do and stop being programmed to do things. And I understood him. You did a phenomenal. And I'll say I didn't even think that was you. Out of all the different roles that you've played, that felt different. And you got voice picked by All For One. That's amazing.
Yeah. Swayze. I love Swayze.
I'm about to have him come back on in like a week or two, and he's amazing to talk to. Yep.
He's super fun to talk to. He's great.
And it's funny because I got to talk to him and Ryan Negron, who is the new All For One, the younger version of him. So it was pretty cool kind of hearing the different versions and hearing how he felt about it too. So it's pretty cool.
Hell yeah, dude. That's sick.
Winding down to our last two questions.
Got it.
For my next question, do you think voice actors get enough credit? And how do you feel about AI?
What a loaded question. Jeez. Do voice actors get enough credit? Some do, some don't, in my opinion. I mean, some people, the ground upon which they walk is worshipped. That's few and far between, but some people, I feel there are a very, very, very small amount of people I feel get a large amount of credit.
Yeah.
And I feel like they get enough. But I feel like at large, a lot of voice actors don't get enough, just because I feel like a lot of people think that the job is just really easy. It's just I'll get people that whenever I tell them I'm a voice actor, or when some people that my wife tells people oh, my husband's a voice actor, she'll get people being oh my gosh, I've always wanted to try that, as if it's just
anybody can do it.
Just a thing that people can try. It's oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, I've always wanted to try being a doctor. It's that's a false equivalency, but at the same time, it's come on.
Act like it's some skill to it too. I understand. Yeah. Sometimes people make it it's such an easy thing, it could be a hobby. You know what I mean? It's no, right. This is a profession, a career.
It's a profession. You have to be not only talented, but you have to work at it. And the thing is that I've also seen voice actors who have a lot of talent go through it, but then not really attempt to grow their skill or get better at the act of voice acting, and then sort of fall off, and then perhaps have to make their way back into it and be I've sort of understand now where I didn't further my skill, and that's why I never got anything further than what I had, right? And that's not to say that they were bad. This hypothetical person that I'm talking about, it's not even to say that they were bad. It's that this is a skill you have to develop, just like anything else. Right, that takes time and work and effort. And so I do think that sometimes the art of voice acting is undervalued in that way, and the people who do work on it and get better and put their whole ass into it are undervalued in that way. How do I feel about AI? Oh, kill me. It's frightening, in a way. Just I think, I don't think that the existence of it is like, like an enormous threat and we're all screwed and whatnot. I think that the nonchalance to which it is approached sometimes, like the way that people go like, well, who cares about this stuff? Right? Like, oh, well, somebody made like a fun, thing using this person's AI voice. Well, who cares? It's like, well, I think that's sort of the important part, is that people do care, right? That person cares. The person whose voice you used cares. And I think the nonchalant attitude to it is what really matters to it. I don't think that it is like, there's the whole thing with like the Fortnite Darth Vader voice going on right now, right? And so it's like, yeah, a lot of people are debating, like, is this ethical, blah, blah, blah. And the thing is that, it is a difficult situation, and that's because nothing.
Didn't he sign his rights, the rights of his voiceover?
I'm not 100% certain. I've seen many people saying many different things. If he did, I think it's fine. Then I think, like, okay, clearly he was aware of this, and he was okay with it, and this is what he wanted. Does it take a job away from like a real person? In my opinion, kind of ish. It's difficult to say. The thing with the ethical dilemma of something like this is the fact that we don't have any experience with this. This is new. And because we don't, like, this technological new age that we're approaching is something that, where there's a lot of new stuff coming at us all at once, that this huge sort of, if it's a bunch of like tiny little meteors sort of coming at the earth, right? This sort of big thing that could change a lot of things, which is AI, is sort of hurtling towards the earth, and we don't know what to do, so we're all freaking out and scrambling around. And I think that some of the people are right to be freaking out and scrambling around because the meteor is coming right for them. And I think that voice actors could be in that category. They very well could be right underneath the boulder along with a lot of other people. But I'm not entirely certain that the way that we are approaching it is the way that it should be approached. I just think that a lot of people who have the power to maybe talk about these things or change things or make things better for the future, a lot of those people are saying like, well, like, don't worry about it. That stuff isn't going to happen, instead of looking at the evidence and saying, well, it could, right? And so we should probably make an effort to address it before it might, right?
Yes. I agree with you on that. It's one of those things where it's hard for you to kind of see how much of a threat it can be. But I understand what people say, like, I don't want to hear my voice be used this way. And a lot of it is, until it's you're not going to understand how much of a threat it can really be. You know what I mean? Until you hear your voice saying something crazy and it's affecting your jobs and your opportunities, because now everybody is associating that to you. You know what I mean? So
exactly, 100%.
But my last question I want to ask you is, do you have any advice for any inspiring voice actors that want to break into the industry?
Yeah. One, don't think about AI when you're breaking into the industry. Try not to think about that. But two, I would say, it's easy to get bogged down in imposter syndrome. It's easy to get bogged down in insecurities and telling yourself like, well, at the end of the day, I'm not X person that I enjoy, especially if you do enjoy these things, right? If you do enjoy anime and you really enjoy like specific performances that a lot of people are given, a lot of the time you'll compare yourself to those people that you enjoy. And that's not something that's healthy. So just don't do that for your mental health. But also, it's not something that's like true. You're not that person, and so you won't give the same performance on anything. Don't go to things and memorize how people talk. Because if you want to be a voice actor, it's not about sounding like someone else, because that someone else can already sound like that. It's about what your voice can do, and what matters is what you can perform with your own equipment. Right? Your equipment, I promise you, is good enough. I promise you. You may not feel like it is. You may hear it and go like, I don't like my voice. I promise you, someone else will. And that's what's important, right? You may not get the jobs that you want immediately. You may have to, do unpaid stuff while you're working another job and just sort of build your stuff so that way you get good at things. But, with enough practice, with enough understanding of the medium, and, with enough doing, anything is possible. You can do it. I don't care who you are or like what's going on with you. I recognize that there are limiting factors, but if you want it, you can do it. I promise.
I truly agree with that. And for advice, we always get a lot of main advice. Everybody needs to kind of get into acting. They need to learn what acting is so they can get and learn more about it, so they can get into this field actually knowing what to do. Because a lot of times what you're talking about, like people going into here with the wrong mindset, they're thinking impressions is the right way to go about it. And that's not what voice acting is.
Nope. It never is. But, the easiest way for me to explain voice acting in like getting into it is to say like, hey, you've experienced a lot of these emotions. Maybe not all of them, right? I mean, like maybe not all of them that exist in these anime or if you want to be cartoon actor or anything like that. But like, if you boil situations down to like root elements of these things, what these things feel like, what these things sound like coming out of you. All you have to do is just translate them into a character. And as soon as you're able to do that, a lot of voice acting becomes a lot simpler. It's a skill that you have to develop, but a lot of voice acting becomes like doable.
Okay. And with that wraps up our questions. I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about or discuss before we close it up.
No, man, I can't wait for that stand-up, dude. You better send me the video, man. I want to watch it.
I'm definitely going to try to get it by the end of this year, so I'm going to definitely send it to you.
Yes, I want it.
And with that, we end today's episode. I want to thank my guests for coming and chatting it up with me. I had a lot of fun and learned so much more about the industry of voice acting, and hopefully you listeners did too. Before we close out, I just want to allow my guests the opportunity to plug themselves and basically tell the audience where they can find you.
My name is Joe Daniels. I forgot it for a second there, which is not good.
This has been an amazing conversation, man.
Oh God, I feel like I'm doing great today. You can find me on X at Joe S. Daniels. Whatever else. Go follow Jeremy on stuff.
And with that, if you guys have any questions, I'll have all his links and stuff below. And hopefully in a few weeks, whenever him and his friends have pit out whatever they're pitting out, I'll have shared it on my social media and I'll let you guys know you heard it here first.
Yeah.
And with that, I just want to say, peace.
Peace.